good evening. My name is Annie Conboy, and this is my channeled message, the letter from the light side. Our guides and inspirers are really keen to always help us to understand the energy that we're living through and that we're working with, and the ways in which we can perhaps ride out the wave and come into some sort of appreciation that life is good, although it doesn't always feel that way, and it doesn't always feel comfortable living in an energy world, never mind the material world. And this evening I have Archangel Ethelial with me, who I'm sure will want to say something, but he's giving way a little bit to Rafe, because he wants me to explain with Rafe the energy that we've been passing through this past few days. You may have noticed the impact of the new moon. If you follow moon cycles, you might find that on new and full moons you are more restless, you have more trouble getting to sleep, and a lot of people sort of think, oh, I've got insomnia. Actually, it's often the energy that's being pumped out by that moon phase that kind of G's us up. And also this past week we've had 3 downloads of energy. So you might find that not only have you been grappling with sleep, but that you've had these feelings. Maybe your body's been twitchy, or you've had restless legs, or your feet have got hot. You might have felt like your throat was sore. You might have felt like I've got a bit of a headache. All of those are upgrade symptoms. We get energy passing through us that the higher beings send to us in order for us to boost our energy and clear ourselves, but also for us to pass some of that energy on to Mother Earth. So you definitely might have found that you were wanting to be in nature. We've had in the UK some warm weather. Hot weather. Rafe knows I don't like it when it gets too hot. And this evening I watched a storm, thunder and lightning. It was so give yourself a break if you've been walking around a bit zombified and a bit, oh, why have I got these niggles and aches and pains? And it is that energy that's been flowing through just to boost you. I often have an issue with Rafe of why does it feel so crap when you try to boost me? And he always laughs and says it's because we're getting rid of the crap, dear. That's why. And sometimes you don't like to let go. And I go, oh, I'd love to let go. So you might also have found that you have been having more lucid dreaming. Dreams in which we've been having dreams for clearing of the Earth's aura for a couple of months now, 3 or 4 in fact. But you might have found that the lucid dreams that have peaked in intensity, that you feel them very vividly, or you're in them very vividly, but they fade quite quickly. If you want to track what's happening in your dreams, it's always good to write it down or to share it, to talk about it, because that fixes it in your actual conscious memory. Because your dreams are working on an unconscious level, and they come into the subconscious when we dream, but then they disappear. They don't fix themselves in the conscious. Of course, you might find that you've been doing a lot of travelling in your dreams. That's a sign of getting ready, moving on. And I do want to say on Rafe's behalf that even if you feel a bit stuck and unsure, just remember that you are moving forward. Remember that the way in which things are changing, although it might seem hard to live through it, the outcome is positive. And Rafe tells me that again and again. He doesn't steer me to things that are going to kind of put that idea in my head of things not being right. And I've learned that in the end, if I trust in him saying it will work out okay, then it does, instead of distracting myself and getting into fear. So you might have found yourself a little bit fearful this week, bit niggly and worrisome about, what about this, what about that? And of course, the thing to remind yourself is that we have to acknowledge what we're frightened of. We have to say, yeah, I am frightened of that. And then once we've said that, we're actually able to come through it, because when we let the fear stay inside and we don't acknowledge it, it builds and it builds and it builds a pressure like a volcano, and then it explodes out of us. And the fear leaks out in our energy. We forget that we're energy beings and that we give off energy as well as receive energy. So even though we think, yes, I'm going along really well, I'm not letting anybody know, it's radiating off your energy. People often say to me, how do you know that? How do you know these? I'll tell them something and they'll say, how do you know that? And very often it's because it's hanging there in their energy. I don't have to do anything special. The information's there in front of me. It's like having a flashing sign. So if you don't want neon signs flashing out at the world, then deal with the fear. Acknowledge it. Say, yeah, life is pretty upside down. Life is a bit of a mess at the minute. Life is not at all what I expected it to be. And I'm uncomfortable with that because we don't like things to change. We really don't, even though we say we do and we ask for change. When change happens, there's a bit of us that goes, oh no, change, too much. So Rafe's encouraging you, it is about understanding that you are radiating the energy anyway, and sadly what you give out you get back. So if you radiate the fears, of course what comes right back at you is whatever you feared. Sorry, I'm laughing because I had a daddy long legs incident last week. They're not at all my favourite thing, and I ended up with about 8 of them in the room I was in. Teaching myself my own lessons. So this week you might have found the fear peeping up over the parapet, so to speak. So time to acknowledge it and just remember it's okay. It is actually okay to feel frightened. It's a good human emotion because it tells us we're not in the right place doing the right thing. Sorry, it's a little stopping in now. Stepping in. Lose my thread when he wants to speak. And Ethelial is the archangel of love. Ethelial is here to tell us, love the fear, understand that it's part of being human. Why would we avoid all of the human feelings that are available to us? Why would we, when they're useful, when they tell us something, when they show us that things are out of balance? So if your life is out of balance, the feelings will come, and following the feelings will be the thoughts. So to deal with the thoughts and the feelings, start to look at where it's showing you that you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, that something is oppressing you, or something is deflecting you or distracting you from seeing what life is all about, from seeing the love that you have, and what surrounds you is love. And all of these non-physical beings, the angels, the archangels, all of the beautiful star people, all the different energy beings who contribute this flow of love to us, and we don't notice it because we're that caught up in suppressing what we feel. Grief is real. You can't avoid it. Letting go of anything brings a pang of grief. Pain is real. We can't avoid it. And anyone who's given birth will know you can't avoid it. No matter what is said in the run up to, in the process of, in the aftermath of, there is pain somewhere along the line. It may not be physical pain, if you're lucky. It may be, but there will be emotional pain, there will be mental pain, because you're changing. Change brings all sorts of responses and reactions, and it's okay. And if we know that that's creating the energy, it's plastering a label on us, that others can read if they wish, then we can start to deal with it, start to let it be experienced, and then not stuck in us. Suppressing it's the wrong way, and we suppress love. At the minute, there's so much suppression of love. People divided, people arguing, night is day and day is night, and people wanting to be on different sides. People getting entrenched. It's coming from fear. Everybody's jangly at the minute because, understandably, we're facing things that we don't quite know how to handle. It's not just about corona, not only about corona, it's about the planet that you're on. It's about the way in which you relate to one another. It's about the way in which you look after your young and bring them into the same old patterns. It's about the divisiveness of allowing what is really imaginary. Money is imaginary. It's an energy, but it's imaginary. It's one we've made up for ourselves. Letting that get in the way of being able to see the love, to share the love, to look at one another and recognise we're all the same. That there is no difference. We're all a spirit contained within a human body. We're all here with a purpose and a plan and a desire to make things better, to ascend, to bring a consensus of what is the way to move forward. And yet we get hung up on rubbish, on things that have no consequence really to what we're facing. It's a deflection. Fear's deflecting us, and we're distracting ourselves because we don't want to change, because we feel like the change will be hard. And yet, as an archangel, I'm here to say the change is not that drastic and it's not that hard. It's about finding the love for yourself and then radiating that out and building and boosting and sharing as much love as you possibly can, not letting the divide keep you apart from one another, not letting the love be forced into being conditional. I'll only love you if you think the way I do, if you speak the way I do, if you do what I tell you to do. That's it. That's the whole point. Stop letting the distractions shift you into a state of fear, because that's the wrong way to live this existence. When you can tune in, open up, widen that sense of your intuition, understand the loved ones who are waiting to reassure you that they're there with you. They may be in another dimension, but they're there, ready to say, I am here, ready to say, it's okay, I'm okay, you will be okay, ready to remind you that this is a fleeting blink of an eye. Life is not it's not the be all and end all, and yet you make it such a difficult thing for yourself instead of allowing yourself to flow with love and to flow with life and to build for the future, for the the ones who come after you, the wonderful experience that you know you wanted to have. So let the energy, the upgrades in, take on board that you are part of a bigger plan, that you have something, anything to contribute. Understand every single spirit has been placed here at their own request to do whatever is necessary to move this lovely planet and its inhabitants forward. There are problems, but they're problems of humanity's making, and I believe in the power and the intuition of humanity to return to a path of love and right these issues, correct the course that everyone is on. And it's about coming together, not being divided. It's about recognising that people act out of fear. People act out of the way they feel about themselves. Sometimes that's hate and loathing, because that's the way they've been grown. So now it's time to turn that round to love and to seriously turn the other cheek, to say, is it worth being in fear and division? Is that my life? Do I want that for myself and my loved ones? And where someone is distracted by the fear, send them the love. They may still be stuck in that fear as you move forward, but at least you know that you have tried to give them the gift of love. Love is so powerful. Love, unconditional love, is so amazing. And it's my wish for you, for human beings, to have that love all the time, to let you live a happy, contented, peaceful life with enough adventure to keep you changing and growing. Well, that was quite quick. Thank you, Teliel. I don't know what was said, but I hope it makes sense. Sorry, I've got Rafe pushing me back in and to say to you. Okay, I know that Teliel's been talking about love and balancing off the fear. We've got some strong energies. We've got some volcanic energies at the moment. The energy of fear is ready to erupt. So over the next week or so, expect eruptions, expect people to be even more shouty, more entrenched, expect people to be acting out their fears. Stay grounded, stay within yourself, stay grounded, because that's the way to deal with it. To remember that we've got all of the loved ones, all of the light beings pouring in supportive energy. We have some conflict that has still got to work its way through the system. Unfortunately, we're stuck with dealing with the ripples of fear. What fear does is it creates ripples, as does love, but we've still got a lot of ripples of fear. So there are some things that are going to be happening that will offer you an opportunity to be more fearful, but they're a distraction from the underlying thing, which is the idea of us loving one another and coming together. So when we feel our most separate from others, that's the time to love yourself enough and to love them enough to understand that we're going through a changing process. Particularly, I need to focus on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. So the 11th, 12th and 13th of September, Um, there's some global stuff happening, but you will feel the ripples of it in your community, in your personal life. You will perhaps feel quite drawn down, lacking in energy. You might feel flat. And this is about allowing yourself to recognize the energy that's flowing through the world and responding to it in a loving and gentle way with yourself and with others. So if things flare up, arguments, disputes, division, whatever it is, try and allow yourself to just notice it and let it flow past you, because it is part of the change in the energy that's happening. And by next Friday, we'll be in a much lighter energy. If we don't express it, we don't ever know it's there. We waste an awful lot of energy keeping things suppressed. What is being expressed at the moment in all the various ways that people are divided is what we need to see and understand, and to keep ourselves focused on, through this change, through this process, we will have better outcomes. Things are not sliding downhill. We're not going in the wrong direction. It's just in the chaos of change. We're not sure whether we're up, down, or sideways. I feel that we've got a lot of help, particularly with Kuan Yin, one of the Ascended Masters, and Saint Germain. Compassion is flowing from Kuan Yin to us to help us and ask us to give her our sorrows. When we feel sorrowful, to call on Kuan Yin to help us to let that feeling go, so that we can do our grieving and do our moving on in a positive way. Saint Germain is wonderful. To call on his violet flame. You don't have to say the decree, just call on his energy, so that he can also help release. He is also someone to use if you feel like you can't see things clearly, which is what's going to be happening over the next few days, where all this maybe eruptions are coming from. If you can't see things clearly, he is a wonderful, wonderful energy to bring in, to lift your intuition, so that you understand what the energy is about and what's going on. Because half of the time we get fearful when we don't know what's happening. I need to bring in as well the Christ energy. Sananda is bringing that sense of compassion for self, understanding that you will get you may feel like you want to lash out. You may feel like, they're being horrible to me, I'm going to be horrible to them. But he is bringing that steadiness and that loving mindfulness, and sort of helping to remember that what you give out, you get back. So if you lash out, what will happen is you get a lash back. And that is not a way forward. And to use his words again, because I believe Attilio said it, turning the other cheek, allowing that people are fearful, people are running scared. You don't have to be, and you don't have to engage with that, and you don't have to engage with the way in which they represent that into the world. You are your own person, and it's up to you, and you can bring that lovely, wonderful, centered self, and allow it's their expression of what they're feeling. It doesn't mean that you have to feel it or respond to it. And I do want to encourage you. We all have guides and inspirers. I am very blessed that I have beautiful guides who come in and in my week when something's not quite right or when I'm not quite right. The guides are there going, come on. Rafe especially, but Wolf comes in quite often and says, what are you up to again? And we all have guides. We can all make contact with our guides. We can recognise the ways in which they send us little messages. It might be that they draw your attention to somebody's name or to something that's been put on the internet. It may be that there's a piece of music suddenly starts playing and you go, oh, I've got that. At the minute, they're showing me through numbers because, I love numerology, so I'm getting a lot of double and triple numbers just to remind me of things I need to, to be aware of me and what's happening as I change and I evolve. So just keep an eye out for the ways. Oh, and white feathers. I find white feathers in very unexpected places. I've had 2 today. Just as reminders. In fact, any feathers that catch my eye, I know that I've got guides there. So I think, come on. Keep balanced, keep level. And that's what they bring us. They bring us the desire to show us that we're beautiful and that they love us because we are spirit within a human body, that we're more than we ever think we are. We just haven't even begun to understand all that we really are, and that's what the guides want to nudge us towards, to explore and understand just how much of a difference we make in the world. Even when we think we're not making any difference, we're making a difference. And so they want to encourage you. And so there's a plea from the guides. Will you start paying attention? I don't know who needs to know that. But definitely they'll be trying to get your attention at the moment because of the big spike in fear that's coming this weekend. They just want us to be held and be steady and understand it's part of the process. So yeah, get involved with your guides. They'll find wonderful ways to kind of tap you on the shoulder and say, pay attention, this is happening. I'm laughing because that's what Rafe's doing right now, because apparently we're nearly at the end. So thank you very much for watching live. I love it when your names pop up, even if I can't always answer the questions because I'm in the flow. I love it whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook. It's fabulous. I do appreciate if you're watching on catch up as well, because I see people clicking like when they've watched it, or they message and said they're on catch up, and that's fabulous too. Thank you also for talking about this and sending it out and sharing it. It's amazing to me. It's fabulous the way in which someone will come back to me who's found letters through a sort of very, convoluted route, and they found it, and I just love. It's wonderful. It's lovely because it means that the guides are wanting you to share the right kind of energy, that love. It's all about love. Let's not be divided. Let's find a way to work through love. I'll be back next Thursday, 8:30, I think. Yes, 8:30 next Thursday. So thank you once again, everyone. Have a lovely week. Sending you lots of love, and let's ride out this storm. Take care. Bye.